The little girl's voice trembled as she clutched her broken doll, her eyes swollen from tears and fear. Her mother knelt beside her, a purple bruise marking her cheek, trembling but trying to stay strong. The air around them was heavy with silence, broken only by the low rumble of motorcycle engines idling nearby. In front of them stood a group of leather-clad bikers, their tattoos glistening under the afternoon sun. One of them, a broad man with a gray beard and piercing eyes, knelt to the little girl's level and gently took the broken toy from her hands. He didn't need to ask what had happened to her tear-streaked face. The bruise on her mother's skin said more than words ever could. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, in standing up for what's right, and in giving second chances to people who still have a heart beneath their rough exterior, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel, because sometimes the smallest act of compassion can change everything. The story began 2 days earlier, in a small town surrounded by wide open fields and the distant hum of an old factory. The little girl's name was Emily. She was 6 years old and had a smile so pure it could melt even the hardest of hearts. Her mother, Lisa, worked long hours at the local factory, assembling parts for machinery that would never bear her name or recognition. It was hard, back-breaking work, but she did it with quiet dignity for one simple reason: Emily. Her daughter was her world, her reason to wake up before dawn and return home long after sunset. But not everyone in that factory shared her quiet strength. The factory was run by a man named Carl, a cold-hearted supervisor who treated workers like disposable tools. He'd curse, shout, and threaten those who couldn't keep up. Lisa, being new and soft-spoken, often found herself a target of his anger. And when she dared to stand up for herself one evening, things took a dark turn. That evening, as the golden sunlight faded into the dusty orange hue of sunset, Lisa was called into Carl's office. She had reported unsafe conditions earlier that week, something he didn't take kindly to. Words turned sharp, tempers flared, and when she tried to leave, he grabbed her arm roughly. In that moment, Emily, who had come to surprise her mother after school, saw it all from the doorway. Her small voice screamed for him to stop, but instead, he shoved Lisa to the ground. The commotion caused a tool rack to fall, breaking the little doll Emily had been holding, the only toy she owned, the one her mother had saved for. Weeks to buy tears blurred Emily's eyes as she knelt beside her mother, holding the doll's broken body while Carl shouted for them to leave. Workers nearby looked away, fearful of losing their jobs if they intervened. That night, Lisa and Emily walked home in silence, the factory lights fading behind them like a cruel reminder of how powerless they were. But fate has a strange way of sending help from unexpected places. The next morning, as Lisa tried to cover her bruise with makeup and prepare for another day at work, a rumble of engines echoed down their street. Emily ran to the window, her eyes widening as she saw a convoy of motorcycles coming to a slow stop in front of their small, worn-down house. The bikers weren't ordinary men. They were members of a local motorcycle club known for helping victims of abuse and injustice. Their leader, a man known as Reaper, had once been a factory worker himself before life turned him down a rougher road. He had heard about Lisa's situation from a mechanic who worked near the factory and decided to do something about it. When the bikers arrived, the neighbors peeked through curtains, whispering rumors, but Reaper didn't care about appearances. He walked straight to Lisa and knelt before Emily, who was still clutching her broken toy. Without saying a word, he extended his hand. The little girl hesitated, then placed the doll in his palm. He examined it for a moment, then looked into her tear-filled eyes and said, softly, "No one should ever break something precious to you again." Later that day, the bikers gathered around Lisa's kitchen table, listening to her story in complete silence. Reaper's fists clenched as he heard how Carl had hit her and humiliated her in front of her child. The bikers weren't saints. They carried the scars of their own battles with life. But injustice was something they couldn't ignore. "We ride at dawn," one of them muttered, and the decision was made. The next morning, long before the factory's siren sounded, the rumble of heavy engines filled the town again. The bikers, clad in black leather, rolled toward the factory gates like a storm on the horizon. Workers paused, confused, as the men dismounted and stood shoulder to shoulder. Carl came out, his face twisted in arrogance until he saw who was leading them. Reaper stepped forward, calm but fierce, and the silence that followed was heavier than thunder. No one knows exactly what words were exchanged, but witnesses later said they'd never seen Carl look so pale. Reaper didn't raise a fist. He didn't need to. Sometimes justice is served not through violence but through the sheer presence of those who refuse to let wrong go unchallenged. The bikers demanded an apology, a public one, not just for Lisa but for every worker he had mistreated. And that day, for the first time, Carl was forced to face the people he'd oppressed. The scene became the talk of the town. Factory workers who once felt powerless stood taller that day. They saw what courage looked like, not in fists or fury, but in unity. Lisa was reinstated, given proper respect, and the company was forced to review its treatment of employees. Reaper and his crew didn't stay for thanks. They quietly rode away after making sure Lisa and Emily were safe. That evening, when the sun dipped below the horizon, Emily found something on her doorstep, a brand new doll wrapped in a leather jacket patch that read "Ride with Honor." She smiled for the first time in days, holding it tightly as if it carried all the strength and kindness of the men who had stood up for her mother. Lisa watched her daughter from the window, tears glistening in her eyes, knowing that the world, despite its cruelty, still had hearts big enough to care. The following weekend, the bikers invited Lisa and Emily to a charity event they hosted every year for families in need. There, Emily was given a small pink helmet and sat on the back of Reaper's motorcycle for a slow, gentle ride around the park. Her laughter echoed through the air, replacing the cries of fear that once filled their home. Lisa stood watching, her hands trembling with gratitude, realizing that kindness often comes from the most unexpected people, the ones society tends to judge first. As days turned into weeks, the factory's atmosphere changed. Workers began to support one another more openly. Carl, now watched by higher management, could no longer rule through fear. And Lisa? She became a quiet symbol of resilience. She would never forget that morning when her bruised face reflected despair, and a group of strangers showed her that justice doesn't always wear a suit. It sometimes rides on two wheels, covered in tattoos and leather. Months later, on a chilly morning, Lisa received a letter. It was from Reaper. Inside, he had written only a few lines. "Never let them break your spirit again. You've got a whole army behind you now." Attached to the letter was a small metal charm, shaped like angel wings. She wore it every day, close to her heart, a reminder of that moment when life turned from hopeless to hopeful. Years passed, and Emily grew up remembering the bikers not as scary men, but as heroes. Whenever she faced trouble, she'd think of their engines roaring like thunder and their silent promise of protection. And every time she saw a group of riders on the highway, she'd whisper to herself, "Ride safe, angels." If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can come from the most unexpected souls, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel for more stories that restore faith in humanity. Before we end, we'd love to hear from you. What would you have done if you were one of those bikers? Comment below and share your thoughts. As the engines faded into the distance and peace returned to the little town, one truth remained. Sometimes, the most broken hearts are healed not by words but by action. And in that quiet moment, as Emily held her new doll close, the world seemed a little less cruel, because good people still ride among us.